Hey there, Gemini. Welcome to your reading for the week of August 25th. You have this card that says Darkness Looms on the Horizon. You have this card that says Let Your Intentions Be Known as well. So let's see here, Gemini. You've been getting like a water sign popping up in your readings recently, so I don't know if some of you are like interested in a King of Cups type person. Now, it doesn't have to be a water sign. I have said this to many other people. The King of Cups shows up for everyone. And, the kings can just represent like an archetype of a person, like a type of person, right? And the King of Cups is like the type of person where he is sitting in choppy waters. So he's not worried about what's going on around him in the world. And he's very calm. Like his face is meant to look like he is calm, cool, collected, all that other stuff. So I do part of me believes maybe that this type of person, someone who is calm, cool, collected, just is more attractive at this time, right? So it could be any sign. That is what I'm trying to spit out here. And again, this could be the type of person that you're attracting, basically. So you have the Knight of Cups, the Six of Pentacles, and the Seven of Wands here in your first row. Again, and you end with the Queen of Cups right there. So definitely could be this could just be a divine counterpart that you are attracting here, Gemini, someone that you're very attracted to. I don't, you have that card that says, let your intentions be known. I don't think you have to, come out and, tell this person, that you want to jump their bones or whatever, but, it's like maybe a little bit of flirting or something here would be a good idea, especially if you have your eye on a person, especially if this person doesn't know who you are. It's like sometimes, obviously, we might be interested in a person who doesn't know us yet, or vice versa, right? So, again, I think doing something would be very helpful here. You have the Six of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles is about kind of getting started, right? Six of Pentacles is my card of planting a seed in a direction. So sometimes we just have to get started with the Six of Pentacles. He's giving to this person, not this person. So he's making sure that this guy here is giving energy to what works. And that's really what I would focus on. But I also, as I always say, Six of Pentacles is my card of planting seeds. He needs to, plant seeds in a direction, like anything that he wants to start. He should probably try a couple of things, see what grows, see what doesn't grow, and then he needs to double down on what grows. That's like the, secret sauce with the Six of Pentacles is doing that, in any area of your life where you want to be successful. You have the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands, a card of conviction. We are kind of in a time of conviction. The reason I would say that is because of Neptune and Saturn in Aries. They're both retrograding out of Aries. And by the beginning of September, they'll be retrograding back into Pisces, basically. But they both don't move back in until January and February of next year, 2026. But what I would say is that they've already, touched tips with Aries, Saturn especially. And, again, the secret with that Saturn energy in Aries is that you start something and you finish it. You have to start one thing. The thing about Aries is that sometimes, if you read any of the old astrology books about Aries, for example, not about Aries, but I'm saying the old astrology books that just talk about astrology in general, a lot of them say things about Aries, like Aries is not a finisher. I can think of the Liz Green book. I can't remember the name of her book for the life of me at the moment, but her astrology book, I think in that book she says something about Aries doesn't finish things. But number one, that's not true, but whatever. But what I'm trying to say here is, again, right now, if we are going to start something, we have to brainwash ourselves into making it successful. We need to believe that there is no other way than for us to make something work. And if we believe it, then we will make it happen. And that's definitely what I would do with that Seven of Wands energy, for sure. So let's see what's going on here for you. With the King of Cups, you have the Hermit. You probably are attracting a Hermit here, is what I would say to you, Gemini. It really wouldn't surprise me if you were, it's like if you were attracting a hermit person. I do feel like competition here. It's like maybe you think there's competition. This is popping into my head, so I just have to say it. It's like maybe you are interested in a person where you think there is a lot of competition. I think there is, but it's like I also think that this person's like a homebody or something. It's like probably like competition you don't have to worry about because they probably don't do anything. And so I don't know. It's popping into my head. The other thing is with this Seven of Wands here, Gemini, like if I were a Gemini, and I'm a Gemini moon, right? I would be loud. I've been saying this to you. I would be doing more things to be more loud about what you're doing in life. And this doesn't necessarily mean you have to be annoying or anything like that. But there's something about that Aries energy for you, Gemini. I don't know what it is, but I've said it to you before. I'm pretty sure that I think it would be a very good time. Like, if you're working on projects or, I'm not saying you have to share everything, but like if you're promoting something, promoting yourself, promoting your business, whatever, like I feel like you need to be bolder, more loud, right? With the Six of Pentacles, you have the Magician. We have amazing Magician energy this week, I would say. A lot of people have been getting the Magician, and I would take advantage of it. But, the funny thing about it is that it's been popping into my head that people need to be very kind of like specific about the tools that they are using for their job, like the job, whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. So he has mastery over all the suits in the tarot here, and if one way to do something doesn't work, you try something else. So he might be using his wands. He might be trying to be creative, but maybe that's not working. Maybe he needs to be more logical with the swords, or maybe he needs to put more of his heart into a project he's trying to get to work with the cups, or maybe he just needs to throw money at it with the pentacles, right? It's going to be different for all of you. And the Six of Pentacles says experiment. We can do very, very small experiments with the Six of Pentacles, and when one thing grows, then we can invest more. So we're not talking about losing your shirt here or anything like that. We're talking about small little steps, right? And trying to figure out what works. With the Seven of Wands, you have the Knight of Cups. Yes, again, this is definitely like a knight in shining armor. I think this is very good for love here, Gemini. Like, I think this person will talk to you as well. So it's like if you're wondering, like maybe you're thinking about flirting with a person, or maybe you're thinking about, like, I don't know, something. I don't even know what I'm talking about here, Gemini. But I do think there's like some sort of move that will be made, and it looks good. Again, some of you could be worried about this tower, but I also wouldn't worry about the tower here. The tower, everybody's had the tower, and again, this week, except for maybe like 2 signs somewhere around there. And, there definitely could be like some sort of global tower moment. But as I've been saying, we are in a time of global tower moments. And so I wouldn't worry too much about that, but we'll talk about it. I just think that, the funny thing is here, Gemini, is if you are talking to a person, I think this is going to shake both of your foundations. But this doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. It's like, sometimes we do meet people who change our lives significantly. And you go up to the Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles is a foundation. Four of Pentacles is showing up in the good stuff. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. For some of you, I think this is going to be positive. For some of you, it would be negative. Maybe it could end. Like I'm saying, you could meet a person. Maybe this relationship doesn't last forever. But again, I believe we are here for experiences. So people come at me all the time because I'll say you should be in this relationship even though this person is going to leave. And people are like, why would I be in a relationship where the person is going to leave? I'm like, because maybe they're going to teach you something that you need to know to get to the person that actually will be good for you, right? That's why, maybe, right? So we shouldn't be avoiding relationships even if they're not going to work, because if we're smart, if we just look at this and say this is just a learning experience, I think everybody's guilty of this. We all attach way too much to relationships nowadays. You can see the drama on TikTok and stuff like that where people are crying in their car, which I think is a bad look, by the way. Crying in your car about someone who is a bozo is ridiculous, but whatever, that's neither here nor there. But the point is that we should be looking at these things as learning experiences, right? And not taking it so seriously. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this card that says, be bold, make the first move. Are you kidding? You have that card that says, let your intentions be known. Yes, definitely. I'm not saying you have to tell this person you're in love with them, but I would do something. You have this new moon in Capricorn that says your hard work is paying off. Yes, definitely. I do think it's a very good time for work for Gemini. There's something about that Uranus and Gemini energy. It's like making you like MacGyver. I think it's making you it's really enhancing those skills of yours, Gemini. And so for those of you that are like working on anything, this is very good. You have the Page of Swords, Queen of Swords, and the Eight of Wands. Page of Swords is about curiosity. I think it's also an amazing time for curiosity for you, Gemini. Literally anything that you become interested in, anything that just piques your interest at this time, I would really be researching those things and going deeper into things that are piquing your interest. Again, there really is no good reason for it other than that it will probably lead to something else, right? And I know that's a very random thing to say, but you have that Six of Pentacles here. Six of Pentacles, some people read as breadcrumbing, but again, sometimes breadcrumbs can be a good thing, right? Like sometimes a breadcrumb, like one thing can lead to another, which leads us to, something else that we want, that maybe we don't realize we want. And I kind of feel it would be, like, obviously, I'm not saying that you should go and get breadcrumbed by a person. That's not what we're talking about. I think what we're talking about here is you should follow the breadcrumbs. Like, you should follow your inspirations. You should follow success, right? It's like Six of Pentacles. He will try a couple of different things. He'll see what works. Then he'll take the next step. He'll try a couple things there. He'll take the next step, right? And, that's... like, I think you need to allow yourself to be inspired. I'll give you a great example. I'm secretly working on the Chris Rec channel behind the scenes, and my plan for like over the next month or so is to publish 5 videos on that channel. I just need to get it started. But I'm going to publish them all at once, right? So all 5 videos are going to be about different topics, right? So I'm going to publish those videos, and I'm going to publish them all at once. Whichever topics take off, I'm going to double down on those topics on the channel, right? And then that will be my next step. And then from there, I'm going to narrow it down even further, right? And so that's what I would be doing in life if I were you here, Gemini. It's like, are there steps you can take that will lead to one thing, that will lead to another? You have the Queen of Swords. I don't know. I feel like this is you showing up here. I think you're just showing up as yourself. I think you're showing up in a strong position here, Gemini. I really have nothing to say about it other than you could be getting clarity. I also feel like you could be getting clarity on tower moments that have happened for you in your life. This can be great for healing. Now, we are kind of in an interesting time for healing. And so sometimes I feel Queen of Swords, she's like sword up, hand out. She's cautiously optimistic. She's willing to receive, but she's also kind of defending herself, right? But I do think we are in a good time for healing. So, like if you've had any issues like emotionally or in any area of your life, you could be kind of healing. I would also, you have this card that says darkness looms on the horizon. I would like pay attention to, I think we are in a time where people should really pay attention to their like spiritual flat tires, for example. And it's really funny. Like, so many things have happened to me recently. Like, this year has been definitely one of those years. Even like at the beginning, like closer to the beginning of this year, my brother and I were supposed to travel somewhere, and I just like, I felt really bad about it. And so I was like, we're not going, right? And it's like, I would just trust that stuff. Even the other night, I was driving home late at night. I was at this class that I take, and I was tired, but I ended up staying after talking to some people. And, on my way home, there was this huge accident that I had to, like, basically take a detour around and everything like that. And I'm not saying I would have been in the accident, but it is interesting, right? That I kind of listened to my intuition on that one. I was, like, kind of tired, but people wanted to talk. I was like, I'll stick around for a minute, right? And I'm glad I did. And so, again, I'm not saying that you should be paranoid, but I would just pay, like, any of those little hunches you get, any time you feel like you shouldn't do something, I would pay attention. You have the Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands is a card of quick success or a quick conclusion. And, we're in a time of wrapping things up. Again, that Aries energy, so seeing anything, if there are things from the past that you really want to finish, I would finish those things. If there are things that you've always wanted to do, now is the time to do it. The thing about Saturn is Saturn really rewards us when we are being responsible about something or we're choosing responsibility. I tell people all the time, like, I think even Saturn and Aries, I think would be great for people to write a book, for example, because it takes sustained effort, right? It takes a certain amount of time to get that done. But also, usually a book can last for a long time, right? So I'm not saying you have to do that, but if there is anything like that in your life, like maybe you want to have a 6-pack, right? That takes a long time of sustained effort to do in life. And it's like if you don't have a project like that right now to work on, I would find something. I'm not saying it has to be a book or a six pack, but if there could be something that you work on for a while, I think it would be an excellent time for you to work on those things, because again, Saturn in Aries will bring you the benefits of that, Gemini, and it's I think it would be good, and it could be anything. With the Page of Swords here, you have two cards. You have the Nine of Swords and the Devil. So that kind of changes things. I wouldn't worry about this, by the way, Gemini. I think that this is a past person. Like, look, I think that a past person here could be seeing you with a new person. So, that could be what this Devil is with the Tower. Obviously, I would put up boundaries against past people so they don't ruin something good. Can't make this up. With the Queen of Swords, you have the Four of Pentacles. We were talking all about the foundation here, about building a solid foundation and having a solid foundation. So, a lot of you could be getting clear on what that means. Yes, are you kidding me? Eight of Pentacles. You literally cannot make this up. Eight of Pentacles is material success on the horizon. It says if you choose to work on something for the long haul or long into the future, that's where the success will be. It's like that. This is what we all should be doing right now, I think. I say I think because it's like I can't really prove it, and it's not really intuitive that it kind of intuitive, but more like astrology, I feel. That's what I feel is going on here, is that we need to pick one thing and kind of like have experiences with it. Again, I just said to someone else, like, here is my multi-million-dollar, content creation strategy, right, for all of you. And I'm not saying you have to be a content creator, but it's like what I've been teaching everybody in my YouTube class and everything is that what we should be doing right now is we should be learning something and then putting it into practice and then sharing our experience. If you look at a lot of advice on YouTube, for example, I'm not hating on anyone or anything, but a lot of it is just cookie cutter advice. Like, if you want to improve your mindset, do these things. And it's like everybody that has a video on it, they all say the same stuff. But what will make you stand out is if you say, instead of saying that, you say, I tried every single method for changing my mindset, and this is what actually worked, right? This is my experience, right? That's what's going to stand out in the future because of AI. Because anyone can create a video about anything now because of AI, basically. But the problem with AI is that they're all the same, right? AI only has one, kind of set of advice for things. So if you want to stand out, I'm telling you right now, and not even just in content creation, but pretty much anything else, kind of like having experiences with things, and then sharing your experiences where it's at. Mark my words. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this Observe card and this Manifest card. I think you need to observe your manifestations, right? One of the quickest ways to manifest, I believe, is to try to manifest something small. And then when you do manifest it, be grateful for it and be like, I'm so grateful for this, and all this other stuff, right? So I think, observing your manifestations would be a good idea. You have the Knight of Swords, Tower, and the Seven of Cups. Knight of Swords and Tower is jumping to conclusion energy, by the way. So the Knight of Swords can be a person who's rushing into your life, who's, this is my card of a person who, like, rushes into your life, is like, the sky is falling, right? When it isn't. So I would be careful of other people who are telling you there's an issue when there isn't, right? It doesn't say that there isn't an issue. It just says that if someone rushes in to your life and says there's an issue in some area of your life, that you should probably research it and get the facts for yourself, right? And so that's what I would do here with the Knight of Swords. I definitely wouldn't rush anything with the Knight of Swords and the Tower. Again, I don't feel terrible about the Tower in your reading, but I do feel it's saying, it would be a good time to take your time on things that you're building. You have the Tower here. Again, everybody's had the Tower this week except for like one or two people. And so it could just be a time, of global Tower moments. The whole point of the Tower is that these people are being forced to come down to reality, and they're being forced to see reality for what it is. Neptune and Pisces, Neptune is retrograding on its way back into Pisces right now. It's not there yet, but it will be soon enough. And with Neptune and Pisces is a little bit of a fantasy and kind of like a little bit delusional. So we have to make sure we are seeing reality. And then on top of that, you have the Seven of Cups, right? The thing about the Seven of Cups is he's spoiled for choice. He's imagining something, but there are good things and bad things in all these cups. But really, he needs to find out. He needs to bring those cups down to earth, and he needs to find out, like, if something is actually good or bad, or something is going to be, real or not. And that's what I would do with that Seven of Cups energy. With the Knight of Swords, you have the High Priestess. Definitely time to trust your intuition, for sure. We are in a very intuitive time. You could be, that's the other thing. Again, I say this to you every reading now, that Uranus and Gemini energy, it can be a lightning bolt to the top of your head. It's very electric, and it can bring in these like sudden downloads of information. So, again, if you're getting information, I wouldn't like rush, but I would collect the information. Yes, with the Tower, I think some of you could be surprised that a person is interested in you, though, as well. Again, the Tower can be a pleasant surprise. The other thing is, sometimes I think we can have a Tower moment with a person, but it's not like a bad Tower moment. It's like maybe you meet a person and you move in with them. That is a Tower moment. Your reality is changing by doing that, right? So that is not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes I think that also, we can just meet a person who changes our worldview, which can bring us down to reality, right? And so you could be meeting a person here who has a significant impact. The funny thing is here, Gemini, I think that this also might, for some of you, it's not necessarily love. This could be a mentor or a guide. You're going to have to, take it how it resonates. But, I think that really, I feel this is like an impactful connection. I think that this is something that's going to impact both people. And, there you go. With the Seven of Cups here, you have the Four of Wands. Like I said, you could marry this person. Does not have to be a bad tower. This could be a good tower where it's just like, it changes your reality. It shakes things up for you, right? Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this Look Upwards card and this Stand Strong card. So, yes, I think you need to stand strong at this time. I think that you also, Seven of Cups, you need to dream big right now, Gemini. So, that's what I would do there. You have the Four of Pentacles, Five of Swords, and the Queen of Cups. See, I also feel, Gemini, this just popped into my head as well. Knight of Swords. Four of Pentacles in the good stuff is about building a solid foundation. The Tower always gets reduced down to its foundation, and then hopefully we rebuild it stronger. That's what we're supposed to do, right? Sometimes we don't. But, again, I think this is saying don't rush a foundation, especially if you're starting something new this week or if you're meeting a new person this week or something. I think this is saying it would be worth it to, take your time and see how things go. Now, it's coming up in the good stuff, so you're probably going to do it anyway. I also feel very good about money, but again, I think the secret for you is anything that involves sustained effort, meaning effort for a period of time. That does not mean you have to work hard. That does not mean you have to burn yourself out. That's not what we're talking about here. But, I think it would be an amazing time for Gemini to have some sort of practice, basically. Maybe if you want to write a book, just agree and stick to a plan of writing for an hour a day or a half an hour a day. I don't even think it has to be that much of a commitment. That's the thing about Saturn. I always say, I think Saturn gets a bad rap, but I think Saturn doesn't require much. I think Saturn just requires that we stick to something, and that we make something a responsibility that we do, over a period of time. And, whatever you're working on, I think even just giving it a half hour a day would be enough. You have the Five of Swords. Again, Five of Swords is coming up in the good stuff, so obviously this would be a good thing. This could be a risk that you're taking, and I think we are in a good time for risks. So any risks that you're taking could really be beneficial for you. You have the Queen of Cups. Yeah, definitely time to follow your heart. With the Queen of Cups, we have to follow what our heart is telling us to do. She has that cup. That big cup kind of looks like a trophy to me, and I always say that she values her heart more than anything else, and that's why she gets good results in life, because she, she values what her heart is telling her to do. With the Four of Pentacles, you have the Queen of Wands. Yeah, I think you're very attractive at this time as well, Gemini. So if you are trying to attract a person, now could be a very good time to do it. With the Five of Swords, you have the Six of Cups. I would be careful of a past person here, Gemini, especially if they're toxic. Now, one thing I will say, Gemini, is I do kind of feel like if you are like attracting a person that you haven't really ever been with, it could be something like that, something that never really got off the ground, but that's what I'll say there. I also think that the Six of Cups can be a gift from the universe, and usually the gift we receive from the Six of Cups is a turnaround. And so these Six of Cups can say that, you've been bumping up against an obstacle, and that with the Five of Swords, that you need to take a risk to overcome that obstacle, and that's what I would do there. With the Queen of Cups, you have the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups can be a wish or wish fulfillment coming in for you. So I think for a lot of you that there could be some sort of wish coming in for you with that Nine of Cups or wish fulfillment, which would be great, Gemini. I thought I was going to get more off of that card, but sometimes a card just says what it says, and that's one of those moments where it's just not saying anything else to me. You have this Fire card that says strong emotion, passionate love or hate. Yes, we are definitely in a time where we need to be careful of which wolf we feed inside of us, right? So it is a critical time to make sure that you are feeding the positive side of things, and passion, and excitement, and love, and joy. Magician. You will get what you focus on. You have this Moon. It says changes in your life. Yes, I think there's significant change with that Tower. Tower can be earth shaking. It can be reality shaking. I know that sounds bad, but really it's not, especially because of Uranus and Gemini. It's like there could be some things that shake up your reality, but at the same time, it looks good, right? And so there you go. You have this Dogs card. It says getting together with friends. Yeah, again, and the other thing is I was getting something about this love thing could be like a mentor or a friend that helps guide you, so I think it would be great for that as well. You have this Club card. It says someone will try to make you do something against your will. Yeah, we really need to be careful over the next few years, especially till 2033, as I always say, but it kind of peaks in 2028. I think between now and then, we need to be very careful of people who basically say, I need you to act this way so that I can be okay. It's that type of energy where it's like we're going to see a lot of that. I think we're going to see a lot of people who basically blame everyone else for their problems, and we need to avoid those people, right? You have a Scales card that says keep your life in balance. Yes, I would definitely, if you're working hard, I would make sure you're playing hard. If you're playing hard, I would make sure you're working hard and all that other stuff. But this looks really good, Gemini. I do like this for you. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.